10 signs you're a shaman without knowing it. Your talents could be magical. The term shaman in its original translation means knower. It therefore describes people who have skills and expertise of a special kind from which their surroundings thankfully benefit. In the narrower sense, we think, of course, of the medicine women and medicine men of nature-connected religions and faiths. The mysticism that emanates from the traditional image of the shamans is largely explained by the little knowledge we have from these cultural circles. In fact, their abilities had less to do with sorcery and witchcraft than with a strong connection to nature and its healing animals and plants. Life experience and a good feeling for people did the rest to help the shamans gain their lasting reputation as universal healers. However, this blessed species of man is not extinct. Shamans live and work among us. Some recognize their abilities, while others consider themselves gifted and recognize a strong connection to the healing power of nature, but have no explanation or label for it. Here we present 10 characteristics on how you can recognize miracle-working shamans in everyday life. And who knows, maybe you are one of them yourself. 1. You prefer to live in seclusion. Traditionally, shamans never lived in the middle of the village or within the settlement to which they belonged. Their place has always been, in fact, and symbolically speaking, on the edge of society, where they formed the link between free nature and the social fabric of a community. The tent or the hut in the forest, far away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, were the retreats of the knowledgeable. Whoever wanted to make use of their services had to go to them. Even today, there are many people in our midst who prefer to go about their daily lives in seclusion. They avoid large crowds and enjoy being alone. They limit contact with their fellow human beings to a minimum. Every social interaction costs them an enormous amount of energy. If you are one of those people who prefer less social contact as opposed to too much of it, this could be the first indication of your shamanic abilities. 2. Your intuition is very strong. Shamans do not know everything from birth. They learn new things every day of their lives. What teaches them is, on the one hand, experience. On the other hand, it is their keen observation and study of the world. Over time, these individuals naturally develop a keen intuition. They hear, see, and feel subtle vibrations and changes in their environment long before these have revealed themselves to the masses. And intuition is known to strengthen the more often one makes use of it. 4. Your dreams are very real and intense. Knowledge can come to humans in many ways. The messages of dreams have a very high value in many nature-based peoples and religions. If your dreams seem more vivid, real, and adventurous than average, important knowledge may be hidden behind them. Not all things that take place between heaven and earth reveal themselves to everyone in such a clear way. 5. Sometimes you have inexplicable powers. Not only are you a talented listener, but your tips and advice are well worth listening to. After a cup of tea with you, most people spontaneously feel a lot better. You also have a solution for various aches and pains of everyday life and minor illnesses. All these little things together make a big difference whether someone has the potential to live a modern shamanic life. 6. You are committed to world affairs. Your horizon does not end at the garden fence. Just like the shamans from earlier days, you recognize the interplay of all the individual parts that keep this world running like the gears of a clockwork. You do not only feel obliged to your closest sphere of activity, but consider the fate of the whole planet as your task. 7. You don't really feel like you belong anywhere. Shamans are often called human bridges. They connect what belongs together. However, This special task, unfortunately, also has the consequence that they themselves never really come out of their offside position. They are the silent observers on the sidelines and go home alone. But probably this is how it must feel to have one foot on this earth and the other anchored in the spiritual world. 8. Physical symptoms manifest. It does exist, the legendary and fabled shaman sickness. Unfortunately, the tradition is silent about the details. This much is known. People who were chosen by fate to be shamans, but were not yet ready for this task, suffered from inexplicable diseases such as rheumatism, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, and chronic states of exhaustion. Only from the moment they were able to recognize their destiny and dedicate themselves to their task did these symptoms disappear as if by magic. Today, it is believed that mental blockages are the cause of these painful indications that some of us are clearly called to higher things. 9. Your home is nature. The greatest happiness for shamans is spending time in nature. There they recharge their batteries and can effortlessly connect with their higher selves. Being confined to an apartment, house, or office is like a dark dungeon for them. They need to be able to breathe and have direct contact with Mother Earth, flora, and fauna. 10. You have a hard way behind you. Indigenous tribes or the Mongolian horsemen had their own methods of choosing their shamans. People who were struck by lightning, almost died as children, or survived other hair-raising experiences unscathed were the chosen ones there. In real life, the challenges we face are not always so spectacular. But they do exist, and for born shamans they mean a thorny path toward their true destiny. Special gifts take us to task. Shamans are the bridge builders among people. Like all enlightened beings, they have been given knowledge that obliges them to apply it for the benefit of humanity. They are still the truly knowledgeable among us, even though our modern, enlightened society denies them their ancestral place. They remain the outsiders and marginalized figures that they have always been. As silent observers on the sidelines, however, they can train their eyes and constantly expand their knowledge. Their most faithful companion through the centuries was and is loneliness. And it is, as Gottfried Keller so aptly put it, the only true school for a spirit of noble disposition.